up somehow.
My Straight Talk family, let's keep moving on because it's just a little past the time when we should be saying good night to St. Kitts and Nevis and greetings to the world, greetings to the entire globe, because we are on the World Wide Web and we reach and we communicate with you every Monday and Thursday from 8 to 10 p.m. I know for some of my Straight Talk family in certain parts of the world, your clocks have gone back. But for those of you in the Kittitian and the Vision diaspora, I say greetings and welcome to another edition of Straight Talk. I know that some of you are in Africa. There are some of you in Europe. There are some of you in Asia. And there are a whole lot of you all over North America. So when I say 8 o'clock, you tell me, no, it's 7. Yes, it's daylight saving time. And lots of things happen. But welcome all to Straight Talk and thank those who continue to share the link because you bring us first-timers. And for the first-timers, just to inform you that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes all issues of national, regional, and international issues, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, you do have a forum to express yourselves freely. And on this program, we try to raise the level of national, regional, and international consciousness. We try to raise the level of national, regional, and international discourse by alerting all our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liebert, and I thank Almighty God for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. And for the first timers, let me hasten to pledge to remain an untiring advocate of truthfulness, as I am always reminded of the words of a favorite hymn of mine by Thomas Jackson and Franz Joseph Haydn. And an excerpt goes something like this: we are called to be God's prophets, speaking for the truth and right, standing firm for godly justice, bringing all those evil things to light. So let us seek the courage needed, our high calling to fulfill, that we all may know the blessing of the doing of God's will. So nothing, absolutely nothing, my Straight Dog family, is watered down on this program, neither by omission or by exaggeration. We are not about sensationalism. We're not about creating excitement, especially when it comes to accuracy, or doing that at the expense of accuracy, I should say. Because we always lean on the facts, as it is my bounden duty to present what I always call the unvarnished truth, the plain truth, especially when it comes to governance, accountability, transparency, wherever you are on this globe. Because we reach and we communicate with you all around the Federation. We reach and we communicate with you all around the world. And some we know, some we have never met physically. I know we meet spiritually on so many occasions. And some of us will agree with the things we advance on this program, the truth, I should say, we advance on this program, and some of us will disagree. And that's expected, because we are a different people. And we entertain a diversity of views, I call it. But please, never, ever, ever let us start becoming disagreeable. That will disappoint me. Let's therefore thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight, as always, and thank Almighty God for helping us to understand and understand how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Let us therefore hope and pray for that day when we will all sing His praise together. So welcome again, my people, and thanks for those who share the link I mentioned earlier. As you bring first-timers, please continue to do so. I must always remind you that Straight Talk is a participative program. Yes, by that I mean we include your calls, we include your emails, and those who are minded to call, the numbers are on your screens. And there's some of you I know, as I always remember, you like the cloak of anonymity. So we give you access via our email platform, and that address is also on your screens. Some of you are on Alexa, and you have that app. Just see Alexa play Massive Vibes Radio. And we continue to thank the owner, Massive, for providing this access at a nominal cost. And as we say cost, some of you have also made donations to support our efforts here on Straight Talk. Please continue to do so. But let me say a big, big thank you. And let me assure you as well, or reassure you, that no matter the size of your contribution, you don't stipulate $1, 50 cents, whatever. We don't stipulate a level. But whatever you contribute, be assured that it helps us to continue this important service. And it's a public service. So others who may wish to donate, the code is on your screen. Just scan that code to donate today. It's a very simple process. It's confidential. I always confirm that it is highly confidential. You need not worry about any information going to any place. I don't have a clue who contributes. But thank you again for your support and for helping us to keep the dialogue alive. And there's no straight talk unless I acknowledge and welcome my Straight Talk Junior Brigade. That's an imperative. So understand that, please. Young Dwayne, Jasmine, Tristan, Shama, Kevin, Young Rue, and Jamal, Travis Chavon, and Neymar, my grandson, and his good friend Saraya, Elizabeth. And what about that special lady in St. Louis? We normally start with our observations in review, during which time we highlight the current issues, do some reflection, we ask a few questions, and we establish what was accomplished and what we have learned to the people, because it's a learning process. As we live, we learn. We're never too old to learn. And after our observations in review, we'll begin our thesis for tonight, which I have titled, Who is Fooling Who? The truth about our first sustainable island state. And as our first observation, I wanted to, or I am going to, I should say, address a frequently used word called geopolitics, which is derived from two parts, and I think both have their roots in Greek. Geo, meaning earth, and politics, the power, governance, and decision making. So when combined, geopolitics literally means politics on the earth, or to be more precise, the influence of geography on political power and international relations. And all countries, all, are affected by geopolitics, though the degree and nature of that influence may vary from country to country. But there's an interdependence throughout the world, as no country, none, can exist or exist in total isolation. When we think of trade, energy supplies, technology, and even food systems, they are all tied to global networks. Geopolitical tensions shift for varying reasons. Some get sanctions, the wars, the trade disputes. But those networks are disrupted whenever these tensions arise, affecting everyone. The Russian invasion of Ukraine, for example, shook global supply chains, disrupted raw material flows, transport and logistics networks, and raised costs. Additionally, for us in St. Kitts and Nevis, threats to our CBI program from the USA, Canada, the UK, and the European Union caused Prime Minister Terence Michael Drew to find a new ally in President Bola Tinubu of Nigeria. But we've always heard, and it's been coming to the fore more often in recent times, that Nigeria has been accused of genocide to the extent that the USA is threatening some form of invasion. And Fox News reported this, my Straight Talk family.
An urgent message from President Trump demanding Nigeria stop the brutal murders of thousands of Christians in the country or face possible action from the Pentagon. He posted in part, quote, "The USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria and may very well go into that now disgraced country guns a-blazing to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities."
And my Straight Talk family, Tinubu had his response as well via X.
You heard what President Trump has said. Here's what Nigeria's president has said in response. He said that the characterization of Nigeria as religiously intolerant does not reflect our national reality, nor does it take into consideration the consistent and sincere efforts of the government to safeguard freedom of religion and beliefs for all Nigerians.
But one Christian, Paul Adamu, however, spoke about his own kidnapping for approximately 12 days. And he said this, my Straight Talk family.
2 years ago, I was kidnapped by the dreaded Boko Haram along my way to the airport while I was traveling to Cameroon to meet some of my colleagues. And then I got kidnapped along the line, along the route.
And you were held for how long?
12 days.
12 days. And Adamu also stated that Christians were being slaughtered like chicken every day. And this is a first-hand account. Could you imagine that? Slaughtered like Christians, like chicken every day.
What's your message? What's it like to be a Christian in Nigeria?
First, I want to thank and applaud the United States of American President Donald Trump for designating Nigeria as a CPC, because this is one of the things that we have always wanted. For the message of the Nigerian president, that I think at this point, I will say that there is a time when propaganda has no appeal, where propaganda has lost an appeal. And this is actually the time, because whatever is happening in Nigeria at this moment, I will say that Nigeria is the worst place to be as a Christian, like the worst place in the whole of the world to be as a Christian, because we wake up every day with news of killings. Every day with news of massacring of Christians. It's totally a genocide that is happening here in Nigeria. There is nothing anybody will tell me, because I have been in here for as long as I know. I've been in these places where these attacks have taken place. I've seen women who are crying for the loss of their husbands. I've seen children who are crying for the loss of their parents. I've seen parents who are crying for the loss of their children. I've been to churches that have been burnt down. These are not things that I've heard from the news or someone telling me. This is something that I witnessed somewhere. I've been myself. I've witnessed where terrorism is at the highest point, where people are killed and slaughtered like chickens every day.
An eyewitness account, my Straight Talk family, of Christians killed like chicken every day. And let's be frank, Nigeria is not the only country that persecute Christians. About 75 countries throughout the world persecute Christians. That we Christians are persecuted all over the world. But I raise this matter with Nigeria because through it all, our Prime Minister Terence Michael Drew has remained silent. And we are told he's a Muslim, something he never denied. But that's his right. Right to practice, free to practice his religion, whatever religion. We don't discriminate. Our Constitution does not. But these reported atrocities touch on the intersection of foreign policy, human rights, and what they call small state diplomacy. Because for a small country like St. Kitts and Nevis, which has recently developed visa-free relations with a large partner such as Nigeria, addressing these allegations of genocide requires a careful balance between moral responsibility and diplomatic pragmatism. And this may weaken a country's credibility, or are there risks of short-term gains at the cost of long-term trust? Is there a commitment to the protection of human rights and the prevention of such atrocities wherever they may occur? Should Prime Minister Drew call on Tinubu to uphold the principles of the UN Charter and international humanitarian law? Well, we'll follow these developments and hope that at least Terence Michael Drew whispers in Tinubu's ear or get some clarification from him as it relates to the ongoing genocide in Nigeria. As reported, eyewitness report, Christians are being slaughtered like chicken. And our second observation, we are following the developments in Jamaica, my straight dog family. And while we are not quite certain about, in terms of accuracy of the number of deaths, quite a few bodies have been found. But Prime Minister Andrew Holness went to the media today and expressed gratitude to all who provided assistance to Jamaica in the hour of need, in particular his CARICOM brothers and sisters. And he said this:
Jamaica is heartened and indeed grateful for the response from regional and CARICOM entities to what I would probably describe as, except for COVID, the disaster of the century. And in many ways, it has been described in that way in terms of meteorological terms. It would have tied for the most powerful storm in 90 years, or since the recording of the storms. And the best way to describe it is at an atomic level. At some of the points of impact, it would be comparable to pictures that you would have seen of the Hiroshima blast. When I flew over the disaster area, it was clear that there was a trail of destruction which would match the corridor that the eye took of the hurricane. And you can see the grades of destruction. At the eye, total devastation.
But yes, my straight dog family, according to Holness, it's the most powerful storm, as per records, in 90 years. He likened it on his aerial visit to Hiroshima, that explosion there, nuclear explosion, I think that is, in Japan. And still in the region, we go down south, from northern Jamaica, going down south to St. Vincent in the Grenadines. And Ralph Gonsalves is trying to make history or defy history and be elected for the 6th consecutive term in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I remember in 2015 when his fellow comrade Douglas was trying to move to 5 consecutive terms, but he lost. Now, Ralph Gonsalves and Roosevelt Skerritt are tied for the highest number of, or the longest serving prime ministers in the region, 5 successive terms. And Ralph Gonsalves is trying to beat that. I remember when I spoke to him and I asked him, what must I tell your good friend Denzel when I get back home. I saw him at the meeting. And he said to me, tell Denzel the king is dead, long live the king. No added, just to make the point that although he's no longer prime minister, the office of the prime minister continues. We understand that they call Ralph the world boss. So many are hoping, and I spoke to a good friend in St. Vincent and the Grenadines today, and she said to me that come the 20th, the world boss, we just said the world boss is dead. Long live the world boss. There will be another boss. But Ralph made this announcement just a few days ago, my Straight Talk family.
Her Excellency has accepted her Prime Minister's advice and has issued the necessary instrument, the proclamation to be published of the dissolution of Parliament as of tonight. All consequential, constitutional, and legal matters have been put in train for general elections. General elections will be held on Thursday, November the 27th, 2020. It will be a day of thanksgiving and rejoicing for Labour and the people of St. Vincent.
So the 27th of November, St. Vincent and the Grenadines go to the polls. Our next observation as we come local relates to the finals of the President's Cup that was held last night, I think, at the Technical Center. And we saw the videos. But all hell broke loose just before halftime. But the news we subsequently received was that village superstars, or that should be Rams village superstars, were crowned champions of the President Cup, or President Cup champions, if that's the right word. Although the match did not go to 90 minutes, it went just under 45 minutes, we are told. And many wondered how on earth, if a match was not completed, could you award the cup to village superstars? And we congratulate village superstars. Having read the release from the St. Kitts Nevis Football Association, that's on your monitors, on your screens, that explains the premature end and outcome of the President's Cup match. And it reads, we can read that together, St. Kitts and Nevis Football Association, SKNFA, confirms that the President's Cup fixture between Rams Village Superstars and SL Hosford St. Paul's United Football Club was brought to a premature conclusion after SL Hosford St. Paul's United was unable to field the minimum number of players required to continue play. During the course of the match, several Rams Village Superstars Football Club and SL Hosford St. Paul's United Football Club players received red cards. This reduced the team's on-field players, and in the case of SL Hosford's St. Paul's United Football Club, it fell below the minimum threshold stipulated by the SKNFA 2025 to 2026 senior men's competition rules and regulations. in accordance with Rule 12, Paragraph 3 of the SK-NFA Rules and Regulations, which states, any team which falls or fails to have the requisite number of 7 players required to play a match will lose the said match by default. Thus, the match referee was compelled to bring the game to an end. The result of the match was determined and in accordance with the SK-NFA 2025 to 2026 Senior Men's Competition Rules and Regulations. So in a nutshell, it seemed to suggest here that more than at least 4 players, got red cards for St. Paul's United, which means that if you are under 7, there's 11 aside, so if 5 get red cards, it means you have 6 players, and that does not constitute the team to play. So Ramsville Superstars have been declared winners, and we congratulate them, my Straight Dog family. We also note that St. Paul's SL Hosford, St. Paul's United Strikers have issued their own release in the form of an apology. Very gracious of them. And it reads in part, SL Hosford St. Paul's United Football Club expresses regrets over President's Cup incident, commits to internal investigation and disciplinary action. So yes, my Straight Dog family, it states in the 3rd paragraph from the bottom, we wish to extend a sincere apology to our loyal supporters who attended the match and to our sponsors whose partnership and confidence we value deeply. We also extend our regrets to the wider football fraternity and the public whose faith in our team we are determined to rebuild through accountability and positive conduct. And we thank, in the final paragraph, we thank our fans and partners for their continued support and understanding as we take steps to restore confidence and uphold the standards befitting our legacy as champions. And that's coming from the, it's not signed, well, it's coming from the St. Paul's Football Club, rendering an apology after a big fight, told last night in the final match. I had the video, but didn't get uploaded on time. Kicking and boxing, oh, it was horrible. And our final observation, my Straight Dog family, for a moment, I thought that the Designated Areas Act of 2023 was repealed because this act speaks to smoking in public places. And as you can glean from your screens, Section 3 of the Act says, subject to Section 4, a person shall not smoke in a public place. And a person who contravenes subsection 1, that I just read, shall A, be allowed to retain possession of the smoking device, and B, be issued a fixed penalty notice for $500, or in default of payment, shall be liable to perform up to 20 hours of community service, or 3, in default, performing 20 hours of community service to imprisonment for 5 days. So as I said, I thought for a moment that that law never existed. When you see everybody walking and blowing smoke all over town, and all in your face at times. But ACP Rogers, in fact, said this.
First of all, public smoking is a no-no. It's prohibited. And public places is wide, vast. Schools, bars, businesses, well, such as banks and anything that the public have access to. But what we have done is to create within our laws designated smoking areas, and that's Act was passed in, I think, 2023. This give business persons who owns public bars or any other type of lounges the ability to apply for a license to have a designated smoking area. And that area is assessed by the ministry, and that is the CMO, and then should be consulted with the National Drug Council so that we give approval to the specific area. And then that areas must be marked clearly at any event that indicate that this is your designated smoking areas. If you're caught smoking in the public, a ticket can be issued or may be issued, and that ticket is $500. If you fail to pay the $500, you can be given a 20-hour community service, and if you further don't adhere to that, then you can be given 5 days in prison. So we give all the options of paying before you become a criminal offense.
Let us respect each other, and I think it's important for us to stress this. It is not legal to smoke in public space.
Yes, that is pellucid. And I hope my good Rasta friend is listening. I don't want you to pay $500. I know the tamarind balls make a lot of money, but please, it is prohibited, I should say, to smoke outside of designated areas, to smoke in public places. And those are my observations, and straight talk hereby guide all smokers accordingly. But those are my observations for tonight, my straight talk family. And I move right into my thesis, which I have titled, as mentioned earlier, Who is Fooling Who? The Truth About First Sustainable Island State. And my straight talk family, no country to date has fully achieved sustainability. But according to Terence Michael Drew, St. Kitts and Nevis is actively working to become the first. And this, I must admit, is ambitiously driven by its Sustainable Island State Agenda, launched in 2025, which focuses on 7 pillars: water security, energy transition, food security, sustainable industry, sustainable development, sustainable settlements, circular economy, and social protection. Now, a sustainable island state can be defined as a nation that actively develops by balancing its economy, its environment, and society in order to ensure the well-being of its citizens and future generations. I am not certain, however, if the Terence Michael July administration took the time to acknowledge its unique vulnerabilities to climate change and other global challenges. Because in a world grappling with climate change, rising energy costs, food insecurity, and geopolitical uncertainty, small island states are most vulnerable. So, Terence Michael Drew has embarked on what must be a bold journey to become the world's first sustainable island state, to become self-reliant in energy, food, education, and healthcare in particular. But ever since Terence Michael Drew came to office, he has spoken out of turn on so many occasions. Recall that he said that steps will be taken to make St. Kitts Nevis a republic. How many of us remember this?
The shifting tides of constitutional change. This tiny island is reconsidering its relationship with the Crown. The Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis says he wants to give people a say on who their head of state should be.
The head of state still reside in the monarchy of England. And so that aspect of it is telling us that we are not totally free yet. That consultation or discussion will start sometime during my leadership.
The Prime Minister is also calling for an apology for the monarchy's historic role in the slave trade.
I think that acknowledging that something would have gone wrong, something wrong was done, that acknowledging it and apologizing for it is a step in the right direction.
And my Straight Talk family, 1 year later, the same Prime Minister ran to his colonial master, Philip III, or as he put it, he went to see the king.
The other day, where did I go? I went to London. You remember that? You all saw the picture? You sure? Who did I visit in England? You all remember who I visited? I went to visit the king. Go back and you'll recognize that I went to have a one-on-one conversation with the king of England. And he and I sat in his front room and we had an excellent conversation. I said, Your Majesty, when is it? It will be St. Kitts and Nevis's turn again to be able to bestow on one of our citizens a knighthood so that he or she or they can be called sir.
Imagine that. So he sat in his front room, King Philip's front room. But he has spoken out of turn on so many occasions, I say. Think of his promise to pay a yearly dividend to all citizens from the CBI fund. He paid that dividend once and never again. Recall that Jew and his slow student and deputy Jeffrey Hanley promised to build 2,400 houses. And Jew said this as well.
I want to take this opportunity to highlight the Minister of Housing. Because we made a promise to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis that we will build 2,400 houses. We said to them that the houses will be stronger, that they will be able to withstand Category 5 hurricanes. We said to them that they will come with the opportunity for you to extend. We also say that they will come with basic appliances and cupboards and good tiling and all of the other amenities that would make a home fitting for you, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. And we were doubted because if you were not in our position, you would doubt as well. If you were not in the position of East Coast, you would doubt as well. So those of us on the inside, even though the storm was raging on the outside, the storms of doubt and the storm of talking innuendos and the accusations that this is not possible, we did not respond in kind. We said that at the right time, the program and the houses will speak for themselves.
And my Straight Talk family, at the right time, the country will find out what has become of East Coast housing development. The houses really spoke for themselves, but only two of them, two model homes of the 2,400 houses, only two of them have spoken. Then the contractor East Coast Housing Development and its executive director, Brian Singh, disappeared. And we were told by the slow student Jeffrey Hanley that the government lost no money. Imagine that, my straight dog family.
As you know, as a country, we engaged the East Coast Housing Development in assisting us in delivering some homes. Unfortunately, the 600 homes that we were anticipating, with all of the challenges that we might have been experiencing, not us so much as a government, but the investor, that has caused some delays. These matters are being worked on, and what I said to the Federation is that based on the contractual arrangement that we would have signed, the AG office, of course, is working on ensuring that the government's interest, which it is protected. But because of the delay, we have not lost any money as a government.
And this is March, some 8 months ago. The disgraced Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin has not picked his teeth, to use a colloquial term. But nothing has been said about the $10 million that was approved in a parliament resolution to cover expenses such as mobilization for the National Housing Corporation. But it is said that moon run till they catch 'em. And at some time, that information would come to light. Drew then reaches out to Bola Tinubu of Nigeria. As I said before, he's gone to the motherland, he calls it.
Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Terence Michael Drew, was in the presidential villa yesterday to meet President Bola Tinubu on a courtesy visit. The visiting Prime Minister said his country is seeking to establish greater ties between the Caribbean and African countries. President Bola Tinubu welcomed his visitor and pointed out that his investment proposition is a great opportunity for Africa to connect widely, and Nigeria in particular, to strengthen bilateral relations and exploit all the economic opportunities available.
Well, I came here from St. Kitts and Nevis, the CARICOM, the Caribbean, and we are seeking to establish greater ties between the Caribbean and our African brothers and sisters, as we call it, the motherland. And so we have been doing a number of things, and so I wanted to come here. And this time I came on an investment summit, trying to inspire our people here to come to the Caribbean to invest so that we can, of course, work together closer as a region, as two regions, but really we are all connected by blood.
Oh, it's excellent. Very great opportunity for Africa to, connect widely, and Nigeria in particular, to strengthen bilateral relations and examine and exploit all the economic opportunities that is available to us so that I can achieve more for ourselves.
And you heard him. Nigeria wants to achieve more for themselves. But he then signs an MOU and spoke about establishing a hub. He spoke about the Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw expansion project, the new Bastille High School project, and the new Joseph Nathaniel France Hospital, which should have begun in August. He did say the hospital was to start in August.
The hospital is well on its way. We are in the process of completing the EIA, completing all of the plans, because I told them we're not going to start until everything is in. So everything is almost completed. We have brought, OECC, which is a company from Taiwan that is leading it. They have brought on hospital specialists. We have presented the outline or the concept to the public already, but I can say that construction of that hospital will start this year.
and it will expected to start, I will tell you, before August.
Well, August has come and gone, my Straight Dog family, and the hospital has not started. So too, the Bassi High School, big show, with a small excavator, but the grass is up again. But Mark Brantley, on the other side of the Narrows, he too embarked upon the enhancement of the Alexandria Hospital. And for 8 or 9 years, he cannot complete the construction of an additional wing at that institution. But many of us have not stopped to consider that it is reliably rumored that this contract was awarded to the brother of the deputy premier, and the architectural design works were done by another member of the NIA cabinet or his firm. Brantley, for nigh 20 years and millions of dollars deposited into certain bank accounts, has still not delivered on his geothermal project. For the last 2 years, we have been told that money for exploration drilling was procured after his first pronouncement that the CDB grant loan was not enough. The last update he gave us was this one, my Straight Dog family. He told us about this in terms of that update as it relates to the geothermal development on Nevis. He told us that this development, or for this development, Nevis has now received all the monies. All the monies have been received, but that was months ago when he gave this update, my Straight Dog family, and he told the nation or the federation this. This is what he said to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis in this update months ago, my Straight Dog family.
Geothermal update, I have no further update since the last time, except to say that because of the Saudi Development Fund, we have secured the gap funding that we were seeking for the drilling phase, which means that we now have $17 million from the CDB, $20 million from the Saudis, and which allows us to move forward. The bids, as I understand it, should be opened the end of this month. We went to the second round of bidding on the drilling, and I'm hopeful that this time around we'll have had a successful bid and we'll be able to move forward very shortly.
Very shortly. And my Straight Dog family, that update, believe it or not, was in February of 2025. But using the foregoing context, I have tried to explain that Terence Michael Drew and Mark Brantley both talk a good talk, but without substance. And there's this old adage that says that talk is cheap, but whiskey costs money. And we know by now that any politician can make promises or say impressive things like Terence Michael Drew. But it does not take much effort to say things are on the way. By contrast, doing something real, like buying whiskey, which has an actual price, requires resources. Now, the concept of sustainable development is nothing new, because way back in 1987, some 38 years ago, the United Nations sponsored World Commission Environment and Development issued the Brundtland Report, also called our common future, which introduced the concept of sustainable development, defining it as development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs, and described how it could be achieved. But when one examines the concept of sustainability or sustainable development and make comparisons to what is actually happening here in St. Kitts and Nevis, there are so many variances that can be easily identified. And the most egregious one is the recent passage of the Special Sustainable Zone Authorization Act that was rushed to the Parliament, we've learned by now. And all we hear that it is just a framework legislation, but a good piece of legislation. That's what the advisor told me in the supermarket on Saturday. Now, many legal pundits opine, however, that the act is unconstitutional, that the act is poorly drafted, it's contradictory and contains clauses that are like poison pills. But time will tell, though, whether these pundits are correct. For me, however, the greatest concern is the development agreements that can be reached or can be derived from this legislation. The first development proposal, called Destiny, is a perfect example. The zone, we are told, must operate with its own utilities, water, power, and others, and internal services. And this, to me, sets the stage for an enclave or private city. It sets the stage for an enclave or private city type development, which will be a semi-autonomous enclave within the country. Or put another way, an island in the country. And we ask the question, is Destiny a CBI project? If not, what is the pathway to citizenship? How can one get citizenship by investing in Destiny? Will workers in this zone be subject to our social security laws? Will they pay social security? And we know we have a transactional prime minister and a transactional premier and a transactional attorney general. So are these issues addressed? How sustainable can we get when 40,000 people can just descend upon a tiny island like Nevis, become citizens, and not compromise the ability of future generations to sustain themselves? No guarantee of money can be legislated. The question of sustainability in the face of rapid population influx is not merely economic. It is moral, social, and environmental. For a small island like Nevis, the sudden arrival of 40,000 new citizens presents profound challenges to the long-term viability of our resources, infrastructure, and the way of life. And yes, you hear me say 40,000. I mean 40,000. Because if there are 10,000 citizens allowed in that enclave, then we anticipate that many will come with their families, their spouse, and their children. And we estimate at least 4 persons, a spouse and 2 children. So while economic opportunity is important, there's no guarantee that financial contributions will align with the needs of the island or be invested in ways that secure our future. We must recognize that sustainability is multidimensional. It encompasses environmental stewardship, social cohesion, and the prudent management of resources. Unchecked population growth, especially through mechanisms that allow large numbers of newcomers without guaranteed benefit, risk undermining these pillars. Future generations deserve the right to inherit an island that can support them and not one burdened by overextended systems or depleted natural resources. This is not an argument against openness or economic engagement, but a call for responsibility. Citizenship policies should balance opportunity with obligation, ensuring that those who join our community contribute meaningfully to the preservation and enhancement of the society they are entering. Without careful planning and enforceable standards, we risk compromising our island's sustainability and the security of those who will call it home long after we are gone. In short, growth without accountability is not progress. Sustainability without foresight is not possible. So when Mark Brantley comes to tell us that there will be penalties for $75 million and twice the amount of capital invested, nonsense. Ask yourselves, which court can or will enforce any penalties? But as Mark Brantley says, it does not matter, because his wife, Mama Brantley, Sharon Mama Brantley, will make millions as a realtor. So he goes home each time to tally the amount of commission earned from her going between Olivia Jansen's and the landowners. So why should it really matter, my Straight Dog family? Why? Why should it really matter? It's a question we ask. It's a fair question.
Gentlemen, I am here to advise those who may not have known that it does not matter to me one jot what people say. It doesn't matter. What you have to say about me and your opinion of me, that no matter. You understand? Because when I go home, it is the opinions there that matter to me most. I live by me. You live by you. So you worry about who home by you, whether them like you or not. And I can worry about who home by me.
Who has the money? So why should it matter? But the people in Nevis have made it abundantly clear to Mark. And he asks them this question.
The project that is proposed is what we are talking about. Do we want this project that is proposed on the South Coast? That is what we are talking about, right? So that's where we are. So it sounds to my ear that the eyes have it. That's what it sounds like. The eyes have it.
But my sister family, the people have chose common sense and country over party loyalty. As a country, we must establish where our country stands and where do we want to go. We see the smoke and there must be fire. Are we going to out the fire or to let it burn? Where would our nation be if we allow this mass people importation in Nevis now and in St. Kitts thereafter? That is the question we must answer. Sustainability demands that we protect our future generations and not compromise their future. We need each other. So why should our future be determined by the party we support? Today, we must ask ourselves, who is fooling who when it comes to the so-called first sustainable island state? The reality is clear. When money and personal gain are involved, commissions earned behind closed doors, profits funneled to private banks, it becomes painfully obvious whose interests are being served. Not ours, not the people of Nevis. The people of Nevis have already spoken. When asked to support the Destiny Project, they all shouted, hell no! They chose common sense and country over party loyalty. That is the spirit we must hold on to. we must ask ourselves, where do we want St. Kitts and Nevis to go? Do we want our future determined by unchecked projects, hidden deals, and the whims and fancies of a few individuals? Or do we want a nation that protects its children, its citizens, and its environment? Look around. We were promised a solar farm. That remains incomplete. 2,400 houses undelivered. The Basti High School project is on pause. The airport expansion project is stalled. The new General Hospital is uncertain. And geothermal energy plans remain in the shadows. Our government operates in the dark, yet asks us to trust blindly. My Straight Talk family, sustainability is not a slogan. It is a commitment to protect our resources, our people, and our future generations. We must stand together, united not by party, but by the love of our country. We must demand transparency, accountability, and real sustainability. Our children's future depends on it. Let us be clear. Do not be swayed by empty promises. Do not sacrifice your land, your communities, and your future for fleeting profit. The people of St. Kitts and Nevis deserve better. And together we will hold the line for truth, justice, and sustainability. Special economic zones and mass importation of people without accountability are not in the best public interest. It is time to ask ourselves the hard question: who really benefits? And my Straight Talk family, I heard a sermonette by one Reverend A.K. Hamid, and he asks that question: who really benefits?
Fellow Nevisians, it seems that there was a time when what was once sacred to us became negotiable. When the fire on the nation's altar dimmed, not because of rebellion, but because of bad replacement of leaders. It seems there came a time when we began to look elsewhere for provision, elsewhere for protection, and even elsewhere for identity. And slowly, without even noticing, the center of our small island world shifted. And so today, I speak not only as a religious minister, but as a citizen, as a Nevisian whose mother and father, grandmother and grandfather, great-grandmother and great-grandfather were born Nevisians. I speak as a citizen of Nevis, born of Nevis, a citizen who sees the signs of a dangerous shift, a shift from public service to private interest, a shift from transparency to secrecy, a shift from national stewardship to land gambling. My fellow brothers and sisters, let me be clear. The recent SSZ Act, passed under PM Drew's administration, hands over nearly 4,000 acres, that is 6% of Nevis, to private developers without a by your leave. This is not just a policy, it is a political earthquake. It is the beginning of a private state within a sovereign nation. It is a gamble with our children's future. The Bible says in Proverbs chapter 13, verse 22, the New King James Version, "A good man leaveth an abundance to his children's children." Do we not have any good men in government? Where have all the good men gone? Nevisians, we must ask, who benefits from this deal? Who controls the zone? Who approved the terms? And why was the public not fully engaged in this so very, very important decision? Why did those in office who work for us not fully consult us? This is not just about land. It's about power. It's about identity. It's about whether Nevis remains Nevis or becomes a gated investment colony. Since when did our constitution take power from the people and hand it to government?
Since when? It's a fair question. And Reverend Amin also spoke on the dangerous shift in our country.
Address in 1863, where he described democracy as government of the people, by the people, for the people. He did not say government of the investors, by the investors, and for the investors. Governments, at least democratic ones, are meant to serve, not sell. When government replaces the people, like the federal government has, and the Nevis Island administration has, democracy dies. Let me take you to the Word of God in Judges 6, verse 25. The Bible says, tear down your father's altar to Baal and cut down the Asherah pole beside it. This scripture is not just spiritual, it's political. It's a call to confront inherited government systems that has been around for too long. It's a call to challenge these cultural norms. It's a call to tear down systems that no longer serve the people of Nevis. Today, we face a spiritual and civic crisis. A crisis where families and nations worship systems of provision instead of the source of life. I speak of the slow seduction of political idolatry, where government becomes Baal and the altar of truth is abandoned. Fellow Nevisians, too many of us place ultimate trust in modern governments. But governments, like Baal, are formed by human hands. They may offer structure, aid and policy, but they cannot heal the soul. They cannot command the heavens, and they cannot secure eternal peace.
No, governments cannot heal the soul. They cannot create eternal peace. What a message. The message on some that is some 18 minutes long, but I can't play all of it. I took that excerpt. It's a bit long, but I'm grateful for your tolerance. And I asked my Straight Talk family, who is fooling who about first sustainable island state? And that's my story tonight, and I am not going to change it. I'm going to open the lines and entertain your calls and your emails. And when I do so momentarily, I anticipate that you will respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned, and let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let us ensure that the things we say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. And in the process of saying and or doing those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. Caller, it's 19 past the 9 o'clock hour. You're live.
Good night, Mr. Liebert.
Good night, my first caller. How are you tonight?
I am great.
Good to hear you.
The truth has no defense against a fool.
No defense against a fool.
Determined to believe a lie.
Determined to believe a lie.
I repeat, the truth has no defense against a fool determined to believe a lie. Have a great evening.
Thank you very much. Very interesting quotation. As usual, the truth has no defense against a fool determined to believe a lie. Let's go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding the caller. You are live. Hello, caller.
Mr. Straight Talk.
Abracadabra.
Abracadabra. You know what happened, Mr. Straight Talk?
Tell me.
I completely forget that they turn back the time.
Turn back the hands of
I'm
time.
sitting here waiting for you to come on at 8 o'clock and you're not coming on. So I said, let me go put the thing on now for you to come on. Instead of you doing greetings, you lighting fire. I said, something is wrong. Something is wrong.
Turn back your time, not mine.
Yes, sir. Mr. Straight, I get up out of my house yesterday morning running going to church. It's 8 o'clock. My brother called me and said, the turn back in time. I said, turn back what time, guy? What are you talking about? I have to come back in the house and sit down because it was too early. It was just 7 o'clock. Mr. Straight, what the thing going on with me this time? But God is good. You just got to do what you got to do. Anyway, that's enough laugh for tonight. Let me just greet my people before I get to find out what's going on with you. My brother Alvin, his son George, with my lovely niece, Abigail, and my lovely niece there in St. Louis. How are you? Texas Queen, how are you doing, man? It's all right. And I just want to talk to my brother there from another mother there in Lodge, and my sister Joan. Mr. Straight Up, what was your topic tonight? I ain't no hear nothing.
Well, our topic is who's fooling who about first sustainable island state. Who is fooling who? Another not gonna fool. Another that can't fool you.
Look, no, I was glad when I put on the thing there last night to see what was going on, and there you was. But you see, just like you even say, when a man blind to truth, the court lady, there's nothing you can do with it. No, I mean, this man gonna sit there and hear people say, no, I'm gonna say, the eyes have it. But I thank God for you, because remember on Monday the lady called and said that he having this thing and the people is shouting him down. But I'm glad that you put it out there for people to see it. The people is called, what people going to turn back the clock on in Nevis? If they don't do, you hear what's going on in Africa? These people build up zone in Africa where you can't then hire nobody but the people that from that place. It was just on BBC this morning. Yeah. And I'm saying, what are you saying? So that's what they want to do in Nevis. And the people of Nevis better stand up and take Mark Bradley ship out of Yaba. Because if they don't, they're going to be that day. Because Mama Grantley are with pushy handful now. They go between. I was just telling somebody yesterday about these people, and she said, corrupted politician. I tell her, but don't you know who is he corrupted politician? The premier and his wife. She said, what? I said, yes, the premier wife is the one that's going to get millions of dollars when she sell the people in land for a little bit of scrappy. How you going to get away with more of it this? But I thank you, Mr. Straight Talk. I just get the last of you saying this and saying that, but it's good enough for me. So, Mr. Strater, just take care of yourself, your man. Just detour and abracadabra. See you when I see you.
See you when I see you.
I'll get back for you for Monday. All it will be well. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself till I see you when I see you. Be good.
Be good as well. Always a pleasure to hear my brother from another mother. Go back to the line. Thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good night.
Good night, my brother. It sounds like the Bible man.
Yes.
You're up early tonight.
Yeah, Mr. Patches.
Okay.
Well, last week I went to sleep, you see.
Okay.
And me hear people say no.
So you're
no. Me don't really want to win that day.
So you're
the man started, so he is have it, and the people that were saying no. Well, stupid, brother. Oh my God. That is.
So.
We have a God thanks and praise, you know.
Yes, we can, all the time.
God has spared another time. And so I have to say something tonight. Thank you, people. Let us pray. Hear me? And we go down to God, and God will heal us for the rest of the time. The Bible said, blessed is the man that considereth the poor in the time of trouble. He will deal with us. But when people trying to oppress poor people and do everything in their power to bring down the poor people, I wonder if they don't believe that God wants them. You see, I can tell you something, you know. In Psalm 8, God judged the righteous, but he angry with the wicked every day. And he will tell you, if you don't turn, you know what you're going to do. So I trust and hope that they will understand that God is a jealous God. And he do not make joke. You know, here we say, promotion not come from neither from the east, nor the west, nor the south. Promotion come from he. He set up.
He puts down.
And he bring down. God is waiting on them now.
Okay. Okay, my brother.
Yeah,
thanks
all the best.
All the best to you as well. Thanks for your intervention. Let's go back to the line and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you live. Hello, caller.
Good night, Mr. Francis.
Good night, sir.
How are you? So I was calling to tell the people in Nevis, right, that my dead uncle was transferring land in 2013. He'd been dead for 50 years. One more thing. I did a land trace on some land I got from one of my aunts. And she's the first owner of the land. How can she be the first owner of the land if she was born in Munstrat? So these things is going on in Nevis. We got to bring this thing to the light. And a lot of the people we got to blame is the Nevisians themselves, because they know the land's not probated and they still making dealings with this land. You know what I'm saying? So that's all up. Also, they're using dead people in the Libras. They're using the Libras to make consolidations and transfers in Nevis. I ain't ready to tell the names yet, but I can have a private conversation with you offline and I'll expose some of the names, but let them keep it. I want them to keep it up, and then I'll go live and tell everybody's names. Have a good night, all right?
Have a good night. Have a good night as well, brother. Yeah. Thanks for your very interesting perspective there. Caller, you're live. Are you there, caller? Are you there, caller? Hello, caller?
Yes, good night.
Good night, sir.
Good night, sir. And good night to all the listeners. This is the voice of... Yes, I'm hearing you. All right. Yes, good night.
Yeah, your equipment is on. You're hearing yourself. Just listen to your telephone and lock it off or move away from it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay. Good night once again to all the listeners. It's a pleasure for me to make my case of this SSD zone and the men and the women who selling out Nevis and those rest who have sold the Caribbean. Here is it. We have leaders who was trusted to lead the country due to the election. Promise leadership and good governance. Instead, they were planning and they planned and bring their plan forth, the contrary to the agenda that they presented to the people, which is a breach of trust and a breach of the good governance that they promise. For that reason, all this was done on behalf of their self-aggrandization and greed. Because instead of being good, they become crooked. And I will say aloud, we have a crooked Mark Brantley, accompanied by his wife, vice versa, which they try to take our lands with their lies and sold and sell, because some has been sold already, for their own benefit. They are crooked, they are treasonous, but glad for that town hall. And the people said no, because they were misled. But remember, the noose and the rope is waiting for treasonous people. I won't have a problem commanding that order. So the time soon come. Time is longer than twine. It's too late to turn back now. So continue your push, and we will continue our push. But we will win. To the people of Nevis and St. Kitts, do the right thing. The poll is yet to come, and it is very near.
Okay.
Don't be misled. Thank you for the time.
Thank you very much for your intervention. I had me a little bit easy for a moment there, but I guess that's what Straight Talk is all about. We talk straight. We talk straight. Yes. Yes, caller. I'm awfully sorry about that, and thank you for holding your live. Hello, caller.
Yes, Patches, good. Yeah, Patches, good evening to you, man, and the callers. I mean, the listeners, sorry, home and abroad.
Good evening, my brother.
Yeah, let's continue it straight like an arrow. It was said on another radio station this morning that the IMF is in St. Kitts and Nevis. We, the listeners of Straight Talk, want to get some clarification on that. It's alleged or whatever, but we want to find out that this is true, if any truth to that. And whatever situations financially, why they're there, we need to know the details. So that's definitely some homework for you.
That's but I don't know. I really don't know what you're referring to, right? But it's nothing unusual for the IMF to be in St. Kitts. They do the Article 4 reports annually. I don't know. It's what? It's December.
Yeah, got you.
December. I won't. Well, I'll check on it. Everybody getting excited about it, but it's.
I got you loud and clear. Understood. Understood. It might not be anything alarming. Yeah.
Whenever the IMF comes, they issue a report. I'm sure, right? So
Mightn't be anything alarming.
I may be wrong. I'm just really, want to get too excited.
Yeah, got you. Yes, I got you. We don't create excitement on Straight Talk.
No.
Anyway, man,
I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm just, somebody called me today and told me they hold another station at the IMF. A Jew has gone to the IMF to borrow money, so I won't get too excited over that.
Yeah, we don't promote we don't promote sensationalism, man. We just want to get the truth. We want to get the unvarnished truth.
But
that's what we want to get here.
I would, as I told the individual, I would investigate whatever you're saying, but I won't get too overexcited. I may be wrong, but
and here we go. Yeah. Second point, Patches. A big allege. Mm-hmm. Second point on another station or podcast Saturday that the SSA bill, law, whatever you want to call it, didn't run through the legal system there. What do you call that again now? Help me out there, man.
You mean the Bar Association?
Yes, that's correct. There you go. Right on point. Where the lawyers them could get the inside scoop, and where they could have made contributions in terms of the discussions, suggestions, and recommendation to plug like loopholes and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. That's an alleged, and we the listeners of Street Talk, we just want to get the inside scoop. And coming out of that town hall meeting last week, Monday in Nevis, I want to just say congratulations and some commendation to all those people that was there present. And I'm just going to echo what I heard. It ain't no fun going on stage at the Apollo and you don't perform good. And then you just hear all of these boos, boos, boos. It's enough to kill a man's confidence and a man's career, or a lady's for that matter. So we can definitely get that clips going and use those to promote what the Nevis people is saying. We do not want that SS enclave. We don't want that enclave, that Destiny Project. We don't want that Destiny Project to come. Do you want that project to come? No. Patches, have a good night. I'll leave it there for now.
Have a good night as well, my brother. This is a copy of an email copied to me about fraudulent certificates of titles, and I read it. Dear Miss Fleming, I hope this message finds you well. I'm writing to bring to your immediate attention a serious concern regarding the presence and circulation of fraudulent certificates of titles within your office. It has come to my notice that these illegitimate documents are being permitted to circulate, which not only jeopardizes the integrity of your office but also exposes individuals to potential legal and financial risk. Could you please clarify how such fraudulent certificates are currently being allowed to exist under your jurisdiction? I believe it's crucial to investigate this matter thoroughly and take appropriate measures to prevent further incidents. Your prompt response and action on this issue would be highly appreciated. Ensuring the authenticity and security of official documents is vital for maintaining trust and credibility. Thank you for your attention to this urgent matter. This other email reads, "Good evening, Maestro. Boasting Judas on his radio stupidness on Tuesdays talk about all he concerned about is his happiness and his home. Patches ask him, is it where the realtor is, or the banker, the lawyer, or the journalist is? My friend had to calm down the journalist at a function he attended with the realtor, and them a hug up and kiss up, and she could not handle the berries she had in. She was going to bang off the realtor. Is my friend had to take her outside and talk sense to she, drunken tale, and let her know that that is his wife. She said he tell me they are not in them kind of things. Them just live in the same house. Maestro, take it away. Much respect." Oh, that is Cascas. Don't normally have Cascas on this program. Mr. Straight Talk, I must confess and acknowledge that Prime Minister Harris was and still undoubtedly the best. No matter what the naysayers may say, Harris, he was caring, forgiving, and selfless, patient and humble. All civil servants, pensioners, and government auxiliary employees would have already known by this 3rd day of November 2025 whether or not we were going to receive a double salary. A government public announcement on radio, in Parliament, etc., would be positively confirmed. It had become the common practice under Harris to give a double at Christmas. I am calling on the incumbent Prime Ministers to follow Harris's trend and pay the double salary. We don't want to hear absolutely no rubbish about CBI revenues dropped short. And as Dwyer categorically stated, that if you and your ministers keep off the plane for a while, then money will be there to do numerous things, paying the park workers, fixing the toilets at the Pelican Mall, the potholes in the road, and most of all, Prime Minister, we want a double salary. Yes, I said that one senator went to Dubai and a ticket cost $30,000. Do you believe that, my Straight Talk family? Yes, believe what you hear on Straight Talk. A leader should never explicitly say or imply they don't care about the opinions of the people they lead, as it is a fundamental quality of bad leadership that destroys trust, engagement, and morale. Let's go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Greetings, Brother Patches. Ras Kalunji here.
Greetings, Kalunji. How art thou?
I'm cool. You know, you just really amaze me sometimes, you know? In the sense that you talk about geopolitics, and that is what is affecting everything in the world right at this present time. We see Mr. Trump is trying to wage war on Venezuela, where he said that Mr. Maduro is a drug dealer. Totally false. We see now we're trying to wage war on Nigeria, as just rightly stated. Right? But when Tinubu wanted to wage war on the Sahel state, you ain't say nothing. No, the same people who say killing Christians in Nigeria, Boko Haram. Is the United States and NATO created Boko Haram? No, we know about Mr. Eric Prince, when he said that he want to recolonize African people. Mr. Prince is in Haiti today, which is his outfit, Blackwater.
So what's the point you're really making? I'm not trying
the point I'm making, you should be consistent.
Consistent.
Because when Trump brought white people from South Africa, you ain't said nothing either. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying.
But that's my prerogative. I mean, I can't address.
That's your problem. You must because this is what I'm saying.
Please. Wait a while. Let's just have a intelligible conversation. Okay. I have raised an issue in the context of my theme tonight. Okay, and you have an issue with it, and that's fine. But you can dictate what I say, what I speak to. Neither will I say what you want to speak to as well.
I'm not dictating, brother. The point I'm making is that when I'm saying we have to repent and put the house in order.
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to make, if you make the point, you don't have to say it 5 and 6 times. I mean, we are not daft. You're not daft. Neither am I. And
no, but what I'm saying, with all what is happening, both locally and internationally, there's war. Imperialism has declared war on black people. All of us in it, but we're not looking at it that way. That's the point I'm making.
But that's not the point you made. You start on talking about geopolitics, right?
But it's all geopolitics.
Fine, and I explain what is geopolitics and where geopolitics come from. But you seem to have.
But when you're talking about geopolitics, black people in the world, there's an attack on us. You could see it on poor people and oppressed people in general. You understand? Mr. Trump is attacking black people in America.
Well, I don't know if you understand what I said. I made the point that geopolitics is about, yes, the politics on earth, or to be more precise, it is the influence of geography on political power and international relations. It has nothing to do really with black and white.
How you mean? How you mean you have nothing to do with black and white?
No, see, all countries are affected by geopolitics. I spoke to the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and I said because of that, you've had a cascading effect in the world. So if you want to go down to the black and white and this narrow thinking, that's you. You can do that. But the point I'm making, all countries are affected by geopolitics, and I said though the degree and nature of that influence will vary. Right?
Yeah, but what I'm saying, Brother Cassius, black people in particular, we got to look out for our people's interests. He's talking about Christians being genocide in Nigeria. He's killing Christians in Gaza. He's killing Christians in Palestine. He never mentioned that.
Yeah, but so you mentioned it. I didn't, so you mentioned it. Fine. What's wrong with that?
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Mr. Trump.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but the point is, we are here discussing, and the caption I used tonight, who is fooling who about first sustainable island state. And I made the point that all countries, and I made the point that there's an interdependence throughout the world, as no country exists in total isolation. I ain't talking about black and white.
I agree, but what I'm saying,
I am talking about trade. I'm talking about energy supply. I'm talking about technology, and
all of that. But what I'm saying, Brother Patrick, the world cannot exist without Africa. That is the key point. You don't understand the power that we have.
What I am saying,
the world cannot exist without Africa. Okay, let me take for instance, you sell food, right? The main ingredient in your cell phone come from the Congo. And it can't operate without that, which is...
My brother, I am saying to you that there is interdependence throughout the world, as no country exists in total isolation, and including Africa.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
If you're not disagreeing with me, when we make a statement like that, the world can't exist without Africa.
But they can't exist without Africa.
You just tell me that no country exists in total isolation.
No, but what I'm saying to you, look at France. France in total chaos because what?
Anyhow, I think we're digressing here. I'll give you 30 seconds.
You're not digressing now. We got to put we house in order.
No, I am telling you, I think we are digressing because I am saying that geopolitics, our countries are affected by geopolitics in different degrees and nature. That influence and that influence vary.
I'm not disagreeing with that in general. All I'm saying, brother.
Why are you so contradictory? You're not disagreeing.
No, I'm not contradictory. All I'm saying to you, that black people got to wake up and smell the coffee and put our houses in order everywhere we are.
That is your view, but what I am saying is geopolitical tensions shift, right? And the networks are disrupted. Like we have sanctions and wars or trade disputes, and they affect everybody.
Yes, right? Look at Mr. Tinubu, right? What I'm saying to you now, Trump is attacking him, but he had ECOWAS wanting to attack the Sahel states based on a premise from the West.
Okay.
But look here attacking him now.
Okay, I think you made your point. I got you, and straight talk, you're entitled to your view, but you don't have a monopoly on the view, though. Anything?
No, I don't have a monopoly on anything. I'm just stating something.
I'll give you 5 seconds. 5 seconds. I don't even
yeah, what I'm saying, but I don't have. I don't have a monopoly on anything. All I'm saying to our people, black people in particular, we got to wake up and put our house in order. Resolve our contradictions them amongst ourselves and stop fighting amongst ourselves. Why are we going on with this SSB?
I haven't heard
SSB. Right? We could do that ourselves. We don't need an investor to do that.
You know, between you and I, right? I thought that cat had your tongue because since you went to where you went? Nigeria you went to? Or no, Ethiopia, right? You went back to the homeland.
I'm saying African people got to liberate themselves.
I haven't heard you for a while since you went to the Prime Minister's delegation.
What happened? Somebody was using my number to block me from calling you.
Okay.
I'm sure inform me of that.
Okay, I thought you got bought out. That's in the Columbia,
But you can say what you want. All I'm saying to you is that you're not consistent.
Okay, good.
You're not consistent because you're trying to use the PM with this ties linking up. It's not the PM here. It's the whole of CARICOM trying to link up with Nigeria so we could have straight flights.
Okay,
you understand? We got to look about black people interests.
Have a good night, my brother.
You too. You have a good night.
Thank you. Haven't heard Kalunji for a while. He said we're not consistent. We're not consistent because we say that the geopolitics is what we said vary. We say that there's interdependence throughout the world. Has nothing to do with black or white. Has to do with the country's existence, and no country exists in total isolation. And I did in fact remind, and I should remind my good friend Kalonji that the geopolitics is derived from two parts, geo and politics. The politics relates to power, governance, and decision making. And geo is earth. And I made the point about Nigeria, and as the brother Adamu said, they're killing Christians like slaughtering chicken every day. So, what has to do who created Boko Haram or Boko Haram, right? The fact is somebody has to eliminate it. Eliminate them. That's what we're saying. And I'm saying that, I'm asking whether Jew, they claim I don't know if it's because he's a Muslim, but he never denied it. But I asked the question, should Jew call on Tinubu to uphold the principles of the United Nations Charter and international humanitarian law. That's what it is. Has not a thing to do with black and white. But my Straight Talk family, that is what Straight Talk is all about. We have a difference in views. We contend, and some contend more stronger than others. Patches reads this email. I would suggest that Mark Brantley pays more attention to following the completion of the hospital in Nevis and forget the SSZ, which is a scam. If the Vision settled for this scam, they will live to regret it, because the Mama B is looking at getting her cut of 6 million. Yes, 6 million out of the sale of the land to the scammers. Patches, do remember the pictures which Papa B and Mama B posted on Facebook, showing them posing on the yachts of the scammers. Mama and Papa have more to gain than just the project. They are counting the profits to be derived. Shame and scandal in the family. Woe is me, shame and scandal family in the family. Division stand up and be counted reads this email. The SSZ saga continues. Mark Brantley, whoever else is involved, has seemingly made their plans without the people and continue to do so. Some time ago, Mark Brantley was advocating for increased parliamentary representation in Nevis. What people are not talking about is the fact that if this project goes as planned, will the SSZ have its own political representation, a representation in parliament? What is the plan? 10,000 persons voting in one area can sway the future of Nevis? Reads this other email. With the flattery and the chilling of the yacht in Monaco, with the hospitality being shown to the investors by family and local friends and stakeholders, will certainly give them power in the decision-making process. Patches, you see what one plane to Africa, one plane ride to Africa can do to the Rasta man? You got him. Where is this email? I wonder who is that Rasta man. When Kalonji calls in with the noisy crap he wants to discuss, you should not indulge in his ignorance. You should cut him off. Oh no, we'll give him his chance to have his say. No, we won't stifle dialogue. I understand. I know sometimes we get frustrated with this black and white thing. But my Straight Talk family, it's 3 before the 9 o'clock hour. The 10 o'clock hour, I'm sorry. It's 3 before 9 in North America. And yes, the clocks have gone back. And you may have joined me tardily, but tonight we examined our thesis, which is the main part of our show, which I titled, Who is Fooling Who? The Truth About First Sustainable Island State. And no country to date has fully achieved sustainability. Yet, according to Terence Michael Drew, St. Kitts Nevis is actively working to become the first. Ambitious, don't you find? Now, a sustainable island state, I advanced the definition as a nation that actively develops by balancing its economy, environment, and society in order to ensure the well-being of its citizens and future generations. So what do you think with what's happening since the passage of this SSZ Act? And when we reflect on what has been delivered in Nevis, for example, Brantley for 20 years and millions of dollars deposited in certain bank accounts has still not delivered on his geothermal project. And we don't forget as well that Drew reminded him that this project, this geothermal project, will cost $400 million US. Yes, he said this, which is truth.
Yet to implement, for example, geothermal. You know how much the geothermal cost? Total cost might be $400 million US. That's already, if you convert, that's already a big part of our total GDP. Just one project.
One project, geothermal, $400 million US. That's over $1 billion EC, my straight dog family. So don't be fooled when you hear them say this is on the way and that is on the way. But I use all these failed projects to put into context what has been a good talk, but no substance. I'll take a few more calls as we wind down tonight's programming. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Yes, Brother Patches. I'm going to make this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
In respect to all the funding that go over to Nevis to start projects.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm sorry to upset your trend. I hope I don't upset your trend of thought, right?
No problem.
I must be frank with you, and I want you to take heed, right? That sometimes when you level the accusations about people crooked and money in account and so on, right? You have to be ultra cautious when you're making or you're leveling those accusations, because it gets me a little uneasy, and I believe straight talk is always on the edge, but please, think about it when you're making these pronouncements, and be careful when you're trotting down the road of the accusations and money and crooked and corruption and so, right? You can say it, but not necessarily in the way you do. Okay?
Okay.
But I just said I'd tell you gently to.
Thanks for that caution. I have to protect your show and your business.
Yes, please. Yes, thank you.
But that's not going to change my thought, but I respect your show.
Not just the thought, but the expression of the thought. You have to be very careful with it, especially when you're calling people's names, Okay?
Well, there's some. Yeah. Let me move forward. Thank you. Now, in respect to the funding that go over to Nevis, to the NIA, to the leadership of the NIA, to start projects because they were procured. Example, the geothermal, the hospital wing, that has not been completed, nor start, whichever one I'm speaking to. We are all that money. And now, the SSD zone people came in and they promised to do the geothermal and whatever contribution to the hospital wing, Alexander Hospital. We are all that money that was collected before to start and has not. Where it is. So if the SSD zone were to come to fruition, what about those money that was advanced? To whom it may concern? That means it's in somebody's pocket and they're going to run away with that money? You may not like me for this. Who is collecting and who are in charge of these money? There should be and still should be in a fund, and thou shalt not commingle business fund with personal fund. And that is exactly what happened. It is there. Think it will be forgotten. We need bill of particles what is due and what is there and what it was for, and it has not been complete because we have no completion of any of these projects. So who is holding on to those monies? Okay? And this is not good for these leadership. And I don't like even to use the nice word of being kleptocrat, but they are who they are, and they continue. And all these angers me because the people of Nevis are suffering and they should have been in tip-top condition. That is why we are in this predicament, because the leadership think they can they could rob and steal. And that's what they continue to do. But they are caught and they will be caught. I will leave it there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
for your interventions as usual. I have not forgotten my quotation for tonight, and I want to are you there, caller? See what's happening with this call. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller? That's my bad. Caller, are you there? Hello, caller. Are you there, caller? Okay, seem to have lost that caller. Oh my, sorry about that, caller. I'll take a few more calls. So, the quotation: the truth has no defense against a fool determined to believe a lie. The truth has no defense against a fool determined to believe a lie. That's my quotation for the night. And I go back to the lines. Caller, you live. Are you there, caller? What's going on here with my calls?
Yeah, Patches, I'm here,
okay,
man.
okay.
You're still there, Patches? You can hear me, right?
Yes. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, real quickly, in terms of what the other caller there before me was saying there, let me just try to put it out there and try to spin this into some clear context in which I want to put it. I want to put it this way. When money comes over to Nevis, right, who is in charge of that money? Where does that money go? Does that money go into a specific account? Who is managing that account? And let me just go one or two steps more further. Shouldn't there be some type of accountability for that money? I mean, if the federal government is dumping money on Nevis, shouldn't there be some type of accounting back to the federal government in terms of how that money is spent? You know what I'm saying? Like, do they just throw the money over to Nevis and whoever catch the money over there, they just spend it however they want? I mean, how does this thing work, man? I mean, $60 to $66 million has been coming over to Nevis, at least over 7 years of Team Unity. But the projects that was started during that era, they like stalled out. I mean, we could point to so much different projects that stalled out. Then now we're hearing the Premier is asking for the Prime Minister to help out with geothermal, to help out with the airport project. I mean, this stuff is like disastrous, man. And then now they are there to do the Nevis people's work. And is, in my opinion, they're failing. And now the only bailout is Destiny. Man, Patches, I'm going to issue a stern warning to the people of Nevis. My thing is, this Premier is going to run this thing through the Nevis Assembly. He's not going to listen to nobody. Nobody's going to stop him. They're not going to, if they want to stop him, they got to try to do it now. He's going to run this thing to the Nevis Island Assembly and put this thing in front of you for you to finally approve that Destiny project. We got to get in the street and mobilize nationally. Patches, this stuff is really totally disrespectful to the people. And for me personally, man, I'm totally disappointed. And I'll leave it there for the night, man.
Thank you very much, my brother. The $66 million that I know is paid to the NIA, and it helps to cover their salaries for civil servants. 'Cause I believe at one stage I heard the Premier say that the wage bill is about $96 million, so that's still short. I stand to be corrected, but I have that soundbite. I'll don't think I could find it since I'm wrapping up. But the $5.5 million or $66 million per annum helps to pay his wages or salaries of his civil servants. That's the most I can tell you about that, my brother. Yes, my Straight Talk family, at 10:10, I think we've had a good discussion for tonight. The SSZ issue is not going to leave us now until Mark Brantley and Terence Michael Drew and the Garth Lucifer Wilkin come clean. We hear that it's just a framework legislation, but a good piece of legislation. But many pundits have opined that the act is unconstitutional, it is poorly drafted, it is contradictory, and contains clauses that are like poison pills. Time will tell, though, whether these pundits are correct. But for most people, including myself, the greatest concern is the development agreements that can be reached or can be derived from this legislation. Herein lies the problem. And the first development proposal, called Destiny, is a perfect example. A zone must operate with its own utilities, water, power, internal services, and this sets the stage for an enclave or private city type development. Semi-autonomous enclave within the country, as Andres Baumgartner said, one of his consultants. An island in the country. We understand that CBI fees would be mandatory. There's only one legislation makes CBI fees mandatory, and one has to apply under CBI project. So is Destiny a CBI project? And if so, how many shares have been issued? If not, what is the pathway to citizenship? Another question, will workers in this zone be subject to our social security laws? Will they pay social security? We need to know these things, especially coming from a transactional prime minister, a transactional premier, and a transactional attorney general. How sustainable can we get when 40,000 people can just descend upon a tiny island like Nevis, become citizens, and not compromise the ability of future generations? How can it? The question of sustainability in the face of rapid population influx is not merely economic. It is moral, it is social, it is environmental. For a small island like Nevis, the sudden arrival of 40,000 new citizens presents profound challenges to the long-term viability of our resources, infrastructure, and way of life. We must recognize, my Straight Talk family, that sustainability is multidimensional. It encompasses environmental stewardship, social cohesion, and the prudent management of our resources. So, my Straight Talk family, as we wrap, I'm happy that Nevisians have taken this position.
The project that is proposed is what we are talking about. Do we want this project that is proposed on the South Coast? That is what we are talking about, right? So that's where we are. So it sounds to my ear that the eyes have it. That's what it sounds like. The eyes have it.
And I must as well, my Straight Talk family, I must as well share an excerpt from the comments of Pastor Reverend Amir.
Address in 1863, where he described democracy as government of the people, by the people, for the people. He did not say government of the investors, by the investors, and for the investors. Governments, at least democratic ones, are meant to serve, not sell. When government replaces the people, like the federal government has, and the Nevis Island administration has, democracy dies. Let me take you to the word of God in Judges 6, verse 25. The Bible says, "Tear down your father's altar to Baal and cut down the Asherah pole beside it." This scripture is not just spiritual, it's political. It's a call to confront inherited government systems that has been around for too long. It's a call to challenge these cultural norms. It's a call to tear down systems that no longer serve the people of Nevis. Today, we face a spiritual and civic crisis. A crisis where families and nations worship systems of provision instead of the source of life. I speak of the slow seduction of political idolatry, where government becomes Baal and the altar of truth is abandoned. Fellow Nevisians, too many of us place ultimate trust in modern governments. But governments, like Baal, are formed by human hands. They may offer structure, aid, and policy, but they cannot heal the soul. They cannot command the heavens, and they cannot secure eternal peace.
Cannot heal the soul, cannot command the heavens, and cannot produce eternal peace. It's commitment we must make, my Straight Talk family, to protect our resources, our people, and our future generations. We must stand together, not apart. We must stand together, united not by party, but by the love of our country. We must demand transparency, accountability, and real sustainability, because our children's future depends on it. But let us be clear, do not be swayed by empty promises. Do not sacrifice your land, your communities, and your future for fleeting profit. The people of St. Kitts and Nevis deserve better, and together, let us hold the line for truth, justice, and sustainability. Special economic zones and mass importation of people without accountability are not in the public interest. It's time to ask ourselves the hard questions. Who truly benefits? Who is fooling who about first sustainable island state? And that's my story tonight, my Straight Talk family, and I am not going to change it. I must thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight, as always. I thank you, the many viewers, those who just listen, those who made calls, those who sent emails. All of you, remember, are the ones who make Straight Talk. For that, I say a big, big thank you. Straight Talk comes your way every Monday and Thursday from 8 to 10 in the p.m. And for those who are joining me for the first time, tell the world, if you love the program, if you don't, find a way to tell me. But just remember, whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you gotta believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Thursday.
The morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. For the rest of food and loving care, and for my mother's breath of life that's got me here. So whatever my mind conceives, that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now, I'll keep moving on, till I reach the top somehow. Down on my knees, to the Lord I kneel and pray, with my heart and soul, beg Him to take me through each day, my guardian to keep, and my guide, over every step I take, He will preside. So whatever my mind conceives, that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now, I'll keep moving on, till I reach the top somehow.